Hello and welcome to Venus Through the Looking Glass. My name is Brandy and today's pick a card is all about what is exiting your life and what is coming in for you over the next 6 months. So these readings are timeless. Whenever you find them is when you are meant to receive these messages. I have 3 piles for you today, and in a moment we're going to zoom in so that you can see them closer, but you might be drawn to 1 pile, to 2, or to all 3. Sync in with your intuition, pause the video if you need to, and ask Spirit, ask your higher self what it is that you need to know for your highest and best. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so we can take a look at these piles a little bit closer. Okay, so for pile 1, we have the Polk Girls Tarot, and I have a key charm here and also a butterfly charm. For pile 2, we have the Rainbow Moon Tarot with an owl charm and the Tree of Life charm. And last but not least, for pile 3, have the Good Karma Tarot with a musical note and a unicorn charm. So pause this video if you need to, take a couple deep breaths in and out, and go ahead and select your pile, and I will see you in your reading. Hello, pile 1, and welcome to your reading. This is for the pile that picked the Silver Key and the Gold Butterfly charm and the Polk Girls Tarot. So I'm going to move your charms over to the side, and we're going to be looking at, over the next 6 months, what is exiting your life and what is coming in to replace it. And this reading is timeless, and we all know in the spiritual realm that time is not linear. So this could be a repeating theme. It could be something that's happening right now. It could be something from the past. Whenever you're watching this video is when it's relevant to your life, but it could be something that's already been happening or something that's to come. So just keep that in mind, that time's not linear. Spirit sometimes works in ways that we don't quite understand, but it's all for our highest good. So we're going to go ahead and look at your starting oracle cards, and then we're going to pull some tarot and some other oracle cards to get a better picture of what is going on for you. So let's go ahead and turn over all your oracle cards. So we have Gratitude and Vision. Very interesting. Let's see what else we have. House Familiarity. Hand Reciprocity. Let's see. Raindrops. Take a chance on them. This really goes along with what I was feeling while I was pre-shuffling your tarot cards. And look, you got Tree, which is very similar to House. And Road. Okay, like, now this really makes sense what I was feeling, because I went ahead and I pre-shuffled your tarot cards and I was shuffling your oracle cards, and I felt like this was something that you have been manifesting for quite a while. Like, you've been calling it in, you've really been praying about it and wondering, like, when is this going to come? When is it going to come? And feeling quite alone is something that I'm getting. It's like almost like the universe to you felt like it was not answering your prayers, or that it wasn't showing up for you, or where are my guides when I need them right now, which I'm seeing with Gratitude and Vision. And it's almost like you were calling in this vision of things to turn around where they have been really difficult, is what I'm getting. Like, looking at things to be grateful for after a time where things are really difficult. And that doesn't mean that you weren't grateful for the things that you had, but it's almost like when life has been beating you down, and, you know, this is really, to me, coming from relationships in this particular spread, where it really felt like, you know, what do I have to be grateful for when people keep, you know, doing me wrong, or, you know, betraying me, hurting me, and why couldn't I see it coming? Where were you guys to protect me? Where was, you know, my intuition failing me? Why couldn't I see where, you know, things were going wrong? Because with this take a chance on them, it's almost like you have been very wary of making new friends and new associations, new affiliations, really getting involved with other people, because of a lack of reciprocity in your relationships, you know, how things have gone. I get the feeling, you know, that you were quite giving in your relationships and you weren't getting a lot of that back. And that's been a repeating pattern, and it's become really familiar to you. And it's almost like it's felt like home to you, that level of, I don't want to say toxicity. I mean, it could be toxic. Not everybody is necessarily toxic in the broad sense, if you get my meaning, but they could just be toxic for you. Like, their energy just is not good for you. And I think you're coming to a sense with this vision of recognizing that, and how sometimes we're so familiar with that, and when we're constantly exposed to that level of treatment, when people aren't showing up for us and we're showing up for them, that it starts to feel familiar. And it's like you want to take a chance on feeling safe in relationships that, you know, people show up for you, and it almost feels uncomfortable is the feeling that I'm getting with this take a chance on them. It's almost like, you know, you've kind of turned your back on relationships, and maybe you've had the chance to make some new friends, and they kind of seem like solid and stable, you know, with this house and tree, you know, they're really grounded, really solid, and you're not used to that, and it kind of scares you. So yeah, you're at this, you know, crossroads of like, am I going to make this change? Am I going to really embrace what could be really good for me? Stepping out and really taking a chance on new relationships, new friendships, maybe even new love, if that's what you're looking for. You know, a new chosen family, especially if, you know, with this familiarity, this house and tree, both of them speak to our roots and our, you know, what we come from, that you might be letting some of that go. You might have been in a real period of integrating and processing, especially with currently when I'm filming. I mean, this reading is timeless, but the nodes, the South Node is in Scorpio, where we're dealing with a lot of past trauma. And the South Node is all about letting go and processing. And it's like you're ready to journey into the future, you know, with new vision of how, you know, relationships function, with reciprocity, with, you know, with genuine care, and you're ready to give that and receive it. And it's not like you weren't a good friend before, but it's almost like you're afraid, you know, or we're afraid to give your all in relationships anymore for fear of it going wrong again, is something that I'm really feeling. So it's like you kind of snatched your hand away from relationships that could have been really, really, you know, healthy and reciprocal, but it's like you're ready to extend it, kind of like that really, you know, Six of Pentacles energy, that lover's energy, you know, that give and take, that equal exchange of energy. It's almost like you're ready to take a chance on that again, where maybe your heart was really closed. I mean, look at this card where, you know, her hands are placed over her heart, and, you know, she really looks like she is ready, or they're ready to, you know, expand that heart chakra. Here, this person's third eye is open, wide open. So that really shows that Spirit is trying to connect and send a message to you that you can trust your intuition. And sometimes we confuse our anxiety with intuition, and, you know, when our fear of, you know, past situations kind of crop up, we can mistake that for intuition and feed into past situations and project them onto our current relationships, even if it's not really what's happening in the present. And, you know, that's okay. No shame, no blame, because we're all human. We all do it. And even here, there's a moon in this card. So that speaks to, you know, a familiarity, a sense of, you know, intuitive, you know, connection to what can ground you, you know, what you can find a home in, like a new familiarity, if that makes sense. So I really see that as really beautiful for you, Pile One, where you're really calling in new love, really, even if it's just platonic love, or, you know, if it is genuine, you know, you wanting to be in a relationship that's functional, that's healthy, where someone is really there for you. So I love that. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to open this up with some tarot cards and see what else we have for you. Right. So I already pre-shuffled. Let's take a look. Some more. Let's do this. So I have two sets of tarot cards, but we're going to look at kind of more of what has been going on for you. Whoa. Very interesting. That I guess when I was shuffling the Tower, the Three of Wands in reverse and the King of Cups in reverse were already turned over. So yeah, you might have been through a serious Tower moment where you really freed yourself, or Spirit was freeing you from, you know, devil energy that really made you feel stuck. And, you know, the Three of Wands is wanting to expand, not really knowing how. And the King of Cups in reverse, you know, really wants to feel grounded and stable, like emotionally, you know, stable and free. So it's interesting that those are turned over. We'll see if they come out again, but I love that. Okay. What do we have for Pile One? What messages do we have for Pile One? Okay. Cannot shuffle today. All right. What do we have for Pile One? Spirit, what messages do we have for Pile One? Show me clearly. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's very nice. Ten of Pentacles. All right. that again. So we have pile 1. Oh, I think that might have wanted to flip out. Yeah. All right, 9 of Swords. Okay, this makes, yeah. See, and this really ties into the tree and the house, like, you know, really speaks to like happy family, like your desire to really have that solid foundation. Okay. And the High Priestess. Yeah. Like where was my intuition really failing me, or, you know, feeling like you couldn't trust it? Okay. Yeah. And let's see what's on the back of the deck. 2 of Wands. Okay. That's a very similar message to the 3 of Wands in reverse, like trying to plan and see the future and feeling ready to launch. But the 2 of Wands is really an incubation stage. And maybe with that 3 of Wands that came out before, it's like you felt kind of a sense of inertia, kind of like that hanged man energy, where it's like, I cannot see my way through this, where I can actually get going, get some action behind my plans or behind what I see myself doing. I feel really stuck. Yeah, especially with this 9 of Swords energy. That is being in a situation where you feel really alone, and you could be surrounded by people and still feel 9 of Swords. You know, this can happen during the day. You know, you could be in the middle of a conversation and inside of your head, you know, inside of your body, you're feeling this 9 of Swords. You know, a simple phrase from someone where, you know, I'll give myself for an example. I hope you don't mind me sharing a personal story, but I had a very traumatic birth with my son a couple of years ago. He's about to turn 5 at the time of this filming. He'll be 5 in like 4 months. But I nearly died in childbirth, and it was a really, really difficult thing to deal with. You know, I felt like I really lost myself. I lost my fertility. I can't have any more children, and my husband and I, we planned to have 3 children. I'm so grateful for the 2 that we have. They're a blessing. But that doesn't mean that I didn't feel hurt and sad for what I lost. And there were so many, you know, times that I heard, you know, well, at least your baby is healthy, or, you know, it could have been so much worse. You know, those little things, you know, that you hear, or, you know, be grateful that, you know, you survived. And it's those little things where people think they mean well, that it's like they're not showing up and loving me the way that I needed, you know, and I knew that they meant well, but that didn't matter because it still hurt all the same. Like intent and impact are 2 different things. So it's like you can be in the middle of a conversation and feel that 9 of Swords, even if you have, you know, the 10 of Pentacles around you and it looks like that from the outside. It feels like, you know, that 9 of Swords was really inside of you. Like this is what you were feeling on the inside, whether or not people could see it. It was really with you, like a period where you were really suffering in silence, or maybe you were trying to be heard and people weren't really listening. They might have been talking at you and not to you and not really seeing you. And that is a really lonely feeling. And if that is you, I'm so sorry. I know what that feels like. It's really painful. It's almost easier to be by yourself. And that's really what I was feeling when I pulled these cards, was like that you went through a time where it was like, fuck it, you know, I will just be by myself because it's too hard to have this happen over and over again. Like I would rather wake up, know what to expect, right? With this tree grounded, like be grounded in knowing that I can count on me, you know, and I won't have any of these run-ins, these encounters where people can like chip away. It's like death by 1,000 cuts, you know, when it's like your self-esteem feels like it's being constantly like chipped at little by little by little. And it really, really hurts. And it's hard to want to take a chance on getting to know new people or being open, being vulnerable. But the High Priestess there, it's really speaking to not necessarily that your intuition wasn't on point or it wasn't guiding you. It was, but it's almost like you felt like it left you because you couldn't hear it over your anxiety. And maybe there were, you know, a lot of people telling you to be grateful for what you have because you have a lot with this 10 of Pentacles, or you had a lot during this season that we're pulling cards about, that you really could have been well off or well resourced and, you know, have a home, have a car, have, you know, food to eat. You could order out and, you know, have your groceries delivered and all those little luxuries. But you can have all of those things and it still does not fill the void of feeling so lonely, because we are human beings and we need people. we're social creatures. So yeah, I really am feeling that for you. Like, this is the period that you went through, and the tarot cards that we're going to pull are the good stuff that's coming, but this is where you were, or kind of what you're dealing with right now. And I'm going to pull some more oracle cards. I really love this deck. It's a Cannabis Oracle, but it's a kind of a tarot hybrid. I've never used it on camera before, so we'll see what comes out to kind of give us a little clarification on these tarot cards. But I really feel like your message is really direct, really straightforward, that you're coming into a period where you're giving yourself a lot of grace too. Because something too with this Nine of Swords that I'm picking up, but something with the Nine of Swords that I'm picking up is that you might have internalized those messages and started to beat yourself up, you know, and like, why can't I be grateful for what I have? Because I have a lot. And, you know, that doesn't make you wrong or bad for feeling those moments, you know, because that doesn't mean that you're not grateful. But that doesn't mean that you have to be like grateful at every moment of your life, I think. And sometimes, you know, I've had to really come to a different understanding of gratitude, especially considering some of the things that I've been through in my life. I mean, I have an 8th house stellium, and you go through some shit. If you know anybody with 8th house placements, or you have any yourself, you know, you're in a constant state of like, what's coming next, because it's sudden events, it's things that just like happen that are out of your control. And you just really have to roll with it and deal with it. And, you know, it's traumatic, but, you know, the things that I think people get wrong about gratitude is that you're not meant to compare yourself to someone else who's had it worse than you or better than you, necessarily, you know, to say, oh, I'm ungrateful because, you know, I look at all these people who have more than me, or, you know, this could have been so much worse. Look at people who are, you know, X, Y, and Z. They're suffering so much more than me. Like, you know, oh, you know, I broke my toe, but somebody else lost their foot, you know, so I should be grateful. No, I think that's bullshit. But I think simple gratitude statements, like when you wake up, they really can frame your day of, you know, keep it focused on you, of like, thank you so much for, you know, waking me up, Spirit, this morning. And, you know, thank you for, you know, the water, the clean water I have to drink, you know, the fresh air I have to breathe. You know, if there are little, you know, luxuries in your life, like with this 10 of Pentacles, you know, thank you for being able to, you know, get a new tarot deck or whatever it is that might be the thing that you like, you know, the little tiny things that bring you joy. Those are the things that, you know, I think really frame your way of thinking that is really important. You know, and could be the key to, especially if, you know, you're like me and you really, you know, get bothered by the suggestion of gratitude statements. I just felt like I needed to say that for somebody. You know what? I don't think that was your card. I really am not feeling that. Sorry. Let me keep shuffling. Okay. Let's see, what messages do we have for pile 1? Yeah, but just keeping it really, really, really simple and focused on you and on your journey. And it really helps you live, you know, very heart-centered. Okay, yeah, we got transcend. What else do we have for pile 1? Okay, what else do we have here? Pay attention. Yeah, it's like seeing the little things is what I feel, you know. Pile 1, Spirit. What message do we have? Essence. Okay. And this is a new oracle deck to me, so I'm still learning these cards. So I might look at the book for 1 or 2. Yeah, but this universal oneness is really coming into a sense of wholeness is what I'm feeling, especially with this infinity loop. It's like realizing how interconnected all of our stories are, and that you don't have to feel alone with, you know, anything that you've been through. That, you know, there are places where you can find genuine connection, where people can really see you, is something that's coming through, and really taking a chance to put yourself out there and be seen. Because in this 9 of Swords, it's, you know, really kind of hiding yourself away and, you know, trying to deal with your problems alone because you don't feel like people will really necessarily understand you. This card is ruled by Mars in Gemini, and at the time of this filming, Mars is currently retrograde in Gemini. And one thing that I really connect with Mars and Gemini, like the key word for me is fighting words, so it's like really going over and over and over your head the way that words have hurt you. And that doesn't mean that it will hurt any less, but, it's kind of like integrating and transcending some of the pain that you've been through and kind of alchemizing it is really, really important for you right now. And paying attention, especially with this high priestess here, to the messages that, Spirit is sending you at this time. But I'm going to read from the book, this Nana Baruku Essence card, because I feel like it's really connected to this high priestess card here. So let me go ahead and get the book. It says, swirls of purple grace the middle of this card and form into the massive gown worn by Nana Baruku. She is the grandmother keeper of the Orisha oracles for the Fon people of Africa. She is revered as the most influential deity in Western Africa's theology. Her dress resembles a giant ball gown akin to Cinderella's, and she is believed to have given birth to the moon spirit Mawu, who we see in the upper right of the card. The sun spirit Lisa, who appears on the other side, is also a child of Nana Baruku. Nana Baruku is the original creator, and Mawu Lisa is the secondary. The large adornment of cowrie shells cover the goddess's neck and her headscarf. Her skin is leathery to show her age as the oldest Orisha. In her hands is a sacred knife made out of bamboo, and in the other, a terracotta pot holds the secrets that your soul has kept. When this card appears to you, it is time to remember that your essence is here long before your physical being. If you are having issues with your maternal aspects, Nana Baruku comes forward to help with all these issues. Very interesting. Okay, so this could literally be, it's interesting that I told my story about childbirth, and that might be just for a few of you. If you've had problems with conception and starting your own family and feeling like, because the high priestess is also ruled by the moon, and the moon is connected to our cycles, our, our fertility, there might have been some pain and issues related to that, that this card is here, to tell you. That Spirit is really working with you on these issues. And beyond that, maternal issues could be issues with your family. If that doesn't apply to you, it could be issues with your family line on the maternal side. If you've had any squabbles, any spats where it's like you and your mom, or on your mother's side, that side of the family, you really don't get along, it could be that you're really coming into an understanding and making peace with that, or you're reconciling, or you're moving on. Take what applies, but there's some kind of, transcendence where you're really understanding. You're with this pay attention card, I feel like that's almost like an awareness and a reckoning and an integration of some lessons. So that's really, really, I think that's amazing. I don't think it's easy by any stretch of the imagination. I gather it's really, really difficult, especially if you're making the decision to maybe go no contact with certain members of your family, or walking away, or possibly trying to come to a sense of working things out where, things might be difficult, but you really want to make it work. And it's going to be difficult no matter what, being in each other's lives. So I applaud you either way, doing whatever it is that is best for you. And we got another oracle card here, a tea leaf. It says, Bo, you are highly thought of. So if there's any part of you that feels like, with this Knight of Swords, that, I'm not good enough, people don't see me, and they don't think well of me, they don't like me, there could be a lot of those messages that kind of come to your mind, that people do think well of you, that they really, really care about you, and you may not feel cared for, but maybe there are some thoughts that, when you're thinking from an anxious place, that, and I'm not saying that it's not true, or that there haven't been people that have said things that have really hurt you, but you might be, like I said before, there might be situations where you're really making friends, or inviting in new relationships, and you might think based on past situations, oh, that this person doesn't like me, how could they, or they're just being nice, but actually they really do like you, they care about you, they think you're awesome, and you should like you. And here we got carriage, a journey, either physical or mental. Yeah, so transcendence, pay attention, really a change of your way of thinking. And another one flew out for you, so I'm going to look at it. Scissors, disappointment in some affair. So yeah, there might be some sense of disappointment where you have to let go of a situation that you thought was going to turn out a certain way and it didn't. And there is a level of grief with that. I completely understand, and it really hurts. But the way that I really see this is doing some cord cutting, literally with the scissors. There might be something where spirit really wants you to cut some cords, some energetic cords that are really tying you to a past that made you feel really lonely, because you're meant to come into a sense of wholeness where you can feel better about yourself. And, you know, with this, especially with the journey, either physical or mental, it could be both. It could be that you're going back home, literally, to kind of resolve some issues, and also going through, like, going to a support group or going to therapy, if that's something that's accessible to you, getting some kind of level of care and support. I really see that coming for you. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to pull some more tarot cards and see the good stuff that's coming. Let's see. Spirit, what is the good stuff that is coming for pile 1 over the next 6 months? After this period of difficulty, this period of loneliness, what is coming in for pile 1? What's the good stuff that's coming in? So no matter what comes out, these cards are meant to be read in a positive light. These are all the good stuff. But this is like a really big period of awakening. I really see this as like the Judgment card energy. You know, it's very Plutonic. It's very 8th house. It's very Scorpio-like. You might have some, you know, Scorpio placements in your chart is something I'm really feeling, or some heavy like water sign or Capricorn. Yeah, getting Virgo here, Cancer. And that, if that doesn't apply, like, that doesn't mean it's not your reading. It's just something that I'm picking up on. Like, you could have any of those signs like dominant in your chart or in your big 3, or you might have dealt with people who had those signs dominant. It's just something that's coming through. Okay. This tarot deck does not want to talk. Okay. Spirit, please show me clearly what is the good stuff that's coming for pile 1 in the next 6 months. Okay, all right. So we got the 7 of Swords, the 6 of Wands, love that. Yeah, so I see the 7 of Swords and 6 of Wands is like, sometimes we have to move in silence and kind of let people show us, you know, who they are. If you felt like you trusted people too easily or too soon, and that's totally not your fault. What people do is on them. Like, if they've shown themselves to not be trustworthy or anything, but you're gonna feel a lot more comfortable in yourself. You see where, like, the 9 of Swords is in the middle, and now you have the 6 of Wands. That's feeling very, you know, victorious. That's feeling celebrated, where, yes, like the bow, you're highly thought of, where you're gonna feel, yeah. And look at that. You got the High Priestess to the Empress, feeling very, very fulfilled and open to receive from the universe. That is, that's about as good as it gets. But this 7 of Swords is, you know, it's sometimes thought of like the lying, cheating, stealing card, but it's not always necessarily that. Sometimes it's keeping things close to you and not necessarily letting everyone know what you're thinking, and being observant. It's the Moon in Aquarius is what rules this card. So Aquarius can sometimes be kind of emotionally detached. And I think sometimes when we're getting to know people and trusting people, it's like letting them show that they're worthy of your trust before you get too emotionally invested. And that doesn't mean that you're antisocial in relationships or anything. That just means that you're moving with discernment, really. And that's going to make you feel a lot more comfortable and safe in your relationships with the 6 of Wands. That really is what's coming through to me. And you're going to feel more comfortable where this reciprocity may not have been there before. The Empress is very receptive and open to receive and abundant. Your relationships will feel very abundant. You know, and you will feel more comfortable in relationships, because I feel like what you've learned over, you know, with these 9 of Swords moments, you know, at the suit of Swords, excuse me, I'm getting tongue tied. The suit of Swords and the suit of Wands are the 2 suits that get more difficult as you progress from the Ace to the 10. So you're going from the 9 of Swords down to the 7. You're really simplifying and getting back to not fighting, but feeling, feeling into a situation and not mentalizing your battles, or fighting battles in your mind. It's almost like you're becoming an emotional ninja, and just letting things come to you with the Empress and feeling a lot more centered and able to, show up when you want to show up and not do it when you don't have that to give is really what I'm getting. Because with this reciprocity, you might have been in situations where, like, whether or not you had the emotional bandwidth, whether or not you had the energy, you were expected to be there. And anytime you tried to put up boundaries, people would be like, oh, what's wrong with you? And with this disappointment, you could be grieving that a little bit, even over the course of all this good stuff that's coming in, where you're really integrating this ability to kind of be in stillness while receiving the good things that come along with being in relationships that really feed you, rather than feeling surrounded by people and it looking good, but feeling like shit, that, and it can be hard sometimes. It can really feel uncomfortable when we're not used to getting our needs met, to have people really show up for us. So, this Empress is really here to say, if there are people that try to do for you and give to you and give you moments of respite and relaxation, take that, receive it, because they think highly of you and they think that you're worth it. And it's important for you to feel worthy of it, worthy of receiving the good things. So that is, and I just realized on this road card, you got journey and journey here with carriage. So it really is, a journey of self-discovery, self-understanding, and understanding what it is that you deserve, because you might not have always felt so deserving. So that's really, really beautiful. So the next cards that we're going to look at are some signs that you might see and themes that are coming up that deal with the good stuff that's coming over the next 6 months. Let's take a look. Spirit, what signs can pile one look for? What signs can pile one look for? Oh, flyer. Okay, got lightning, disruption. Okay. Interesting. Let's see what else do we have for, okay. And I'm just going to take this one since it turned around upright, and we got bees, community. See? All right. So with disruption, I'm trying to see. So I'm getting a double message from the Seven of Swords with disruption, that there might be some periods where, you might have some misunderstandings with other people over the course of that 6 months where good things are coming in, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because sometimes when we're learning new things and we're in relationship with new people, it's kind of trial and error. And there might be some interruptions, some disruption in your relationships, past relationships or new relationships. Like I said, especially with this scissors, like cord cutting, that could be a disruption in and of itself. But there might be some situations where you might mistrust someone, and that mistrust might be misplaced, or it could very well be like, oh, I see things for what they are and I don't like that. And you might have to cut some relationships off. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, is what I'm hearing from Spirit. It's kind of like, excuse me, it's almost like the training wheels that are going on, for this period, this 6 months, because this is going to carry on long after that 6 months. These relationships that are beginning, this new relationship cycle, is going to be a new normal for you with community. But it might take a couple times before you feel like you get it right, or get that perfect balance. And nothing is completely perfect. It's just like finding your place and finding the place that feels like home to you. So there might be a couple of hiccups. Nothing is perfect. We live in the real world, and I'm never going to blow smoke up anybody's, butt and tell them like, oh, it's all, sunshine and rainbows. But some of those Seven of Swords moments might be like, oh, I thought this person was for me, and turns out, we don't really jive with each other's energy, or, there could be nothing really wrong with who they are. Like you don't necessarily have to have a falling out, but you just realize like, I don't really think that, where we're going in our lives really match up, or it could be, your schedules don't match up, whatever. But sometimes things don't work out, and that's okay to kind of temper your expectations. Let me take this off. Yeah, but with this this pay attention, yeah, that's something that I'm really getting. It's like paying attention to the ways that, you know, disruption is not necessarily a bad thing, you know, and things don't always work out. Some people are in our lives for a season and they come and go, but that doesn't necessarily make the relationship a failure. It doesn't mean that you failed or that they're a bad person or you're a bad person. Sometimes, frankly, stuff happens, but yeah, that's something that I'm really getting from that disruption. So now what I'm going to pull is some affirmation cards and what kind of self-care that Spirit would like for you to have during this period. So let's go ahead and pull some affirmation cards. And I apologize, pile one, I forgot to light your candle. What affirmations do we have for pile one? Too many. Oh. Okay. Let's see what affirmations do we have for pile one. Affirmations does Spirit have for pile one? Oh, okay. Should go with that one. Okay. I allow myself to relax into imperfect moments. Beautiful. See? Yeah, not everything is going to be perfect. There are going to be some disruptions, and just learning how to be in flow with that and to be okay with things not being perfect all the time. Yeah, we got a card, you know, that is Mercury in Virgo, you know, where Virgo really does seek out perfection, you know, and sometimes can, you know, put people on a pedestal or expect too much. And I'm just saying the archetype of Virgo. I'm comfortable saying that as a, not dragging, but I'm a Virgo rising and I am guilty of that. So just allowing yourself some grace, you know, to relax into being imperfect and allowing other people to be imperfect as well. Let's see, what other affirmation do we have for pile one, Spirit? Okay, well, you got two more, and they both feel like your cards. Okay, so I trust the universe to bring the right people and right circumstances into my life at the right time. Yeah, so it's about trusting the universe and also your intuition. I trust my intuition with this High Priestess and vision. Like, you can trust your intuition and really allow yourself with the Seven of Swords to kind of pause and not necessarily let everybody know what you're thinking right away, and digest how you feel about situations, because your intuition will speak to you, but it kind of speaks to you in stillness, and it will speak to you lovingly. It won't send you messages that tear you down. That's very important to understand about the way that intuition works. Like, your higher self is not going to beat you up. Your High Priestess is not the devil. Like, your High Priestess is going to speak messages of love to you from your higher self. The devil will lie to you. That's devil energy. So let's see what self-care Spirit wants. Self-care advice Spirit has for pile one. All right. Hair. So you might want to try out a new look with your hair. Maybe with these scissors, you might want to get a haircut. Try something really edgy, fun. I'm going to read that one out of the book. It's amazing how doing your hair can make you feel fabulous. If you're like me, who often wears buns and never finds time to get your hair done, making an exception once in a while can do wonders. No time to wash? Spray on some dry shampoo. Need a haircut? Make an appointment. Get a blow dry, style, or braid it to feel special. Try a different hairstyle or just wash and style your hair. Okay, so yeah, your hair is your crowning glory, and that could mean whatever, you know, you want that to mean, you know, that. But sometimes I love, you know, hair, like, looking good makes you feel good, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a part of, you know, self-care that really speaks to me, of just, you know, pouring into yourself, giving to yourself. And I can't help but notice, like with this bow, you know, that there's also a focus on the hair that you're highly thought of. It's also, you know, with this Empress, thinking highly of yourself and thinking highly of yourself enough to give yourself the self-care that you need of, feeling good and taking care of yourself. So if you've been through a period where you've been depressed, where you don't, get up and get dressed, and trust me, I've been through it. I suffer, from depression, and there are times that, getting up and washing your face and brushing your teeth are an epic chore that spirit just wants you to try. Don't beat yourself up if it's hard. Just take little steps every day, and nobody is judging you if you can't do it, okay? If you can't do it right away, just do the best you can, okay? You're highly thought of. And that's also a message that if people judge you for not being able to do that kind of self-care, that they're probably not the people for you. That's something else that's coming through. So, take that and really apply it, and really listen to the subtle messages that people send you that, may not align with your values and beliefs, because also the Empress ruled by Venus is our values. If they don't align with you, that's a good indication that you probably shouldn't be surrounded by people that make you feel bad for the days that you can't really take care of yourself, or do things that make you feel good. But your community, people who are truly for you and in community with you, they will take those steps to show up for you. And with this reciprocity, there are times that I know with my husband and even friends of mine, family members, where they needed help and they may have asked, they may not have asked, but I never treated it like it was an imposition or a chore. Now, that doesn't mean that they didn't take advantage of the situation, and I'm not talking about everyone. Some people, came to think of it as an expectation, and this is just something that's coming through, that some people need to hear this, but that there should be a level in your relationships of people that will show up for you to, bring you soup when you're sick, or, come and watch a movie with you when you're feeling down, if that's what you want. Or on the flip side, if you're depressed and you feel like you need to be alone, that they will respect your boundaries and not make you feel bad for the times that you can't be there for them. So that's really, really important. And I feel like somebody needed to hear that. And I can't believe I'm getting all that from hair, but it's respecting your boundaries is something that I'm really, really getting from that. So that's what it really means to be in community with people, in relationship. And this is really a matter of divine timing. Let's see, what does the spirit have for you? Here we go again, pamper. So you deserve to pamper yourself. Okay, so yeah, this is really, really messages of self-care and beauty. So really leaning into this Empress energy. That's something that your guides really, really want for you. So if you haven't been doing regular self-care, just take small steps every day. What's one thing that I can do? Like if brushing your teeth sounds really hard, put your toothbrush in a place that's really accessible. Even if you have to brush your teeth with, dry, with nothing on the toothbrush, or, if you go to your kitchen first thing in the morning, put your toothbrush in a cup that you don't use, where it's right by the sink, and, just even if it's for 30 seconds, rather than committing to the whole 2 minutes, then maybe next week it'll be a minute. And then the week after that, it'll be a minute and a half, or, or 2 months, whatever. But it's like taking those small steps to add a little bit of pampering to your day, of self-care to your day, that make you feel good, that make you feel refreshed, that make you feel, like you want to kind of be forward facing to the world with the Six of Wands. So, okay, pile one, that is all I'm seeing for your reading. Thank you so much if you've made it this far. I appreciate your comments, your likes, your shares. It really helps this channel grow, and the YouTube algorithm pushes the videos out to the people who need to see them. I really, really appreciate your support. If this message resonated with you, for pile one, can you please drop me a crown emoji? And if you feel like sharing your story, I'd love to hear it. I read all my comments. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any new uploads from me. And I hope that you take care, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye. Hello, pile two, and welcome to your reading. This is for the pile that chose the Gold Owl Charm and the Silver Tree of Life, and also the Rainbow Moon Tarot. So I'm going to put your charms off to the side. So today what we're going to look at is what is entering your life over the next 6 months and what is exiting your life. So this reading is timeless. Whenever you see it is when you're meant to hear these messages. But also I just want to put a caveat on this video that time isn't linear, and we all have different birth charts. We're all going through different astrological transits. So this can apply to past situations. It can apply to things that are coming in the future, but it will be relevant for you to know whenever you see this video. So it could be that you're prepping for what's to come, or it could be that you're integrating, but over the 6 months that you see this video is when you'll really be coming into this energy, whether you've already experienced what we're talking about in this video, or whether, these lessons are to come and you're kind of integrating it along that path, if that makes sense. So I already pulled your oracle cards, and we're going to do some more tarot, some tarot cards, and we'll have plenty of oracle cards to go along with it and clarify the rest of the message. So let's go ahead and turn these over and see what is coming for you in the next 6 months. What is exiting your life and what's entering? All right, so we have Gaia, boundaries. Okay, I'm getting some strong like Taurian Capricorn energy. Like Gaia, anything earth really reminds me of Taurus the most, and boundaries are very Saturnian veils we have here. So we have Ram, leadership. That's nice. That's like you're really leveling up. And Castle, alignment, beautiful. That's like really wild, because what I was feeling is like coming into your power. That is beautiful for you, pile 2. And Lioness, you've earned all your stripes. Okay, and leadership, alignment, like this Gaia energy, boundaries. Yeah, you've learned some lessons with this Lioness cards. Like you've earned your stripes. You've been through some stuff, and you're really owning your power, where before you might have been a little scared to, is what I'm feeling. All right, and let's see, we have wine, developing over time. Okay, yeah, family legacy. I was really getting those vibes of, with this energy of leaving something behind, a legacy, and that could even be related to environmental causes. If you have children, or even, you don't have to have children to care about what we're leaving behind, what we're leaving this earth to those who come after us, what it's going to look like for them, what that legacy looks like. But yeah, that is something that I'm really seeing. And here, with transforming and ripening with this alignment, it's really, you've developed and ripened into your fullness, or you're really getting comfortable being fully embodied, definitely with this Gaia energy, and you've earned all your stripes. That's really, really beautiful, pile 2. And ring. So this could be romantic. This could be a business partnership or alliance, some sort of agreement, some kind of closure of an agreement. Take what applies. You could be exiting a relationship or a contract or a business and starting something new that's all your own, that's more aligned to you. You could be starting a new relationship, something that makes you feel more fulfilled, and something that is more aligned with your sense of self, your boundaries, and really just being the main character of your life is what I'm getting, and not accepting with this ring card any less than what it is that you deserve. It's like you're putting up not necessarily walls, but one thing that I understand now with boundaries, and I'm a Capricorn moon, so Saturn is really strong in my chart, that boundaries are not only to keep things out, the bad things out, they're to keep the good things in. And I really feel like you have earned and learned those lessons. There have been a lot of teachers, whether they have been formal or informal situations, that have taught you as well about those boundaries. And also with this agreement, and I think it also says something about promise. Yeah, about agreements and promises, or false promises, I should say, things that you needed to put boundaries up around to protect your heart, or to preserve relationships where things weren't necessarily equal, or someone wasn't holding up their end of the contract. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be malicious. There could be, I'm not really getting the sense of that, but it's just like, if things maybe weren't working out to your favor, or you felt like you were playing second fiddle to someone else and kind of being a side character in your own life, it's that you are putting an end to that. You're like done with it. You're not answering to anybody, over explaining yourself. You're really stepping into leading your own life. And I think people are going to respond well to that, because it's not even what I'm feeling. It's not even from a place of like having power over people, because there's a difference between being powerful and power filled. And you're not power filled. You're just powerful. You're coming into your power and feeling more embodied, where you can really speak your truth, say what you need to say, and say it unapologetically, but also in a way that is very soft and vulnerable, and also not feeling weak for showing certain sides of yourself that you may have held and kind of put away, or, with these boundaries, put walls up around yourself as a protective measure. You don't feel like you have to do that anymore because you really accept yourself for who you are, because you've been through a lot. You've earned your stripes for all the experiences that you've been through, and you've survived, because I really get the sense that you have really been through some things that people wouldn't really believe if they didn't know you. They would be like, you are making this up. Like, I cannot believe that, it sounds like something out of a movie, but it's your real life. And, something else with this card, I really love it, that you've earned all your stripes. You see how she is so comfortable in herself. And I love that. One thing that I have really had to reckon with, trigger warning, I'm going to talk about eating disorders, but I had an eating disorder for a long time, and that internalized fat phobia and not being able to accept my body. Like, I've had stretch marks since before I was a teenager, and I was kind of always on the heavier side, but not necessarily fat. But I grew up counting calories, like, before I was even 10, like, really, really unhealthy relationship with my body. One thing else I'm getting from you've earned all your stripes, and especially with Gaia, is really feeling comfortable no matter what it is that you look like, and not basing how you feel on how other people receive you. And if you want to wear that crop top and you're a size whatever, whether you're a size 6 or a size 20, 22, whatever, like, you can rock whatever you rock and feel comfortable in your skin. You can show off your scars. You can show off your stretch marks, and you can own it and be proud of it. Like, I have had so many surgeries over my life, and I have felt really self-conscious about, showing my body, showing my scars. And that's something that I really relate to. Like, I tell a lot of personal stories. I hope that doesn't bother you guys. That's just my style of reading. I relate a lot to the cards, and I feel like, we can all learn a lot from each other. But it's like embracing yourself and earning all your stripes is really it is main character energy, because, like, I was a teenager in the early 2000s, late 90s. And, that was the era of, like, She's All That, and, all those makeover movies where, the ugly duckling was, turned into a swan. And it was very, cliched. A lot of, like, importance was put on your appearance. Like, oh, now she's the hot girl. She's valuable. She's, this, that, whatever. And those messages were really harmful. Even though those movies are fun and they're nostalgic, like, I can still go back and look at them, but I see them through new eyes, like, being more of a mature person. I'm 37 now, where, when She's All That came out, I might have been like 13, 14. But it's like, I've earned my stripes, and having stretch marks, having scars, wearing glasses, wearing, whatever, doesn't make me any less beautiful. Having features that are not European, doesn't make me less beautiful. Wearing my natural hair is, a sign of pride, and it really makes me feel beautiful to accept myself, and that doesn't mean that, like, if you dye your hair or, you straighten it if it's curly or whatever, that you don't accept yourself. That I'm not saying that. You can do whatever you want, but it's just feeling comfortable in your skin, no matter how you show up, is what is really coming through. And I think Spirit just really wanted me to elaborate on that you might have been through a lot of experiences and battles, and listening to those messages that come from, the patriarchal media and the fat phobic media and the media that really puts emphasis on, thinness and, the superficial, that you don't have to buy into that. And if you do, and there's still some unlearning and processing, because time is not linear, healing isn't linear, all these things, they happen in our own time, but it's like you can kind of see through the bullshit, and, you can decide how you want to feel about yourself without judging yourself against those standards, other people's standards. So that, to me, is really, really beautiful, because I feel like, for this group, you've gone through a lot of your life where you did base how you felt about yourself on how other people saw you or didn't see you. So, you could have, and that doesn't mean it's not your reading if this isn't true, but you could have a lot of first house placements, or you could have a strong Chiron. You could have, some of those placements that kind of make you feel unworthy. Like Venus retrograde is a big one. I have that in my chart, and it can really make you feel, you know, that there is something lacking in you that makes you not worthy of love. But the beautiful thing about having Venus retrograde is that as your Venus matures, you're much more aware of turning inward, because retrograde planets go inward, of seeing into yourself and really assessing your values for yourself rather than seeking it outward. It's a process, but it really is a beautiful journey. And I think that we all could do, you know, and benefit from deprogramming ourselves from what society has to say about our value, and really taking leadership over our lives and our own values. So that's really, really beautiful for you, Pile 2. So what I'm going to do now is open this up a little bit more with some tarot cards, and I already pre-shuffled. So let's see what Spirit has for you. What messages do you have for Pile 2? Spirit, what messages do you have for Pile 2? I'm just going to feel like your cards, if they're meant to come out again, they will. Yeah, but something else that I am getting from this ring card is like a commitment to yourself, to not devalue yourself based on, you know, not to fall back into those old patterns of negative comparison, and focus on the good stuff. And that doesn't mean to, you know, good vibes only or anything like that. It's just seeing the positives in yourself before you recognize the negatives, or kind of skewing towards seeing yourself in a positive light where you might have been overly critical of yourself before you were willing to give yourself any kind of flowers or any kind of recognition. Really able to congratulate yourself. You know, it's almost like you made a pact with yourself and your guides in the universe to do right by yourself, and really almost like say to yourself, like, I have a right to be here. I have a right to take up space. So I really love that. Because, oh yeah, like one thing I'm seeing too is like boundaries are an agreement in themselves. You know, they're a pact, whether it's, you know, a pact with other people or ourselves to, you know, hold to some sort of, you know, contract. So we got the Knight of Wands. And I'm going to leave that there, but I am not sure that's your card, but it might be. Just not quite feeling it, but we'll see. Spirit, what tarot messages do you have for Pile 2? Okay, Chancellor of Cups in reverse. And in this deck, the Chancellors are the Queens, right? So this is Queen of Cups in reverse. All right. Okay, all right, I kind of see what's going on now. Okay. What else do we have for Pile 2, Spirit? What messages do we have for Pile 2? Clearly, what messages do we have for Pile 2? Okay. All right, so we have the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Cups in reverse, the Chancellor of Cups in reverse, and the Fool in reverse. So let me take a look at this and feel into it. Yeah, okay, I completely understand now what this is saying. So you're focusing less on your emotional body, like, and like sitting still and feeling is what I'm getting with this Queen of Cups in reverse. Because the Queen of Cups, she is the ultimate feeler, right? This card is ruled by Cancer. And sometimes we can get overly swept up in our emotions and overly identified with how we feel about a certain thing without really assessing the reality of the situation. And what I'm feeling is more of a sense of grounding. So this could be in the past, because this is looking at where you're coming from. That the Knight of Wands is like you really wanted to move through life with a sense of passion and expansion and feel like, you know, you were, okay, I know exactly what Spirit is trying to say. It's almost like, okay, I love romantic comedies. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie, Failure to Launch, but those are the words that just came into my head. And you don't have to take failure as like an abject failure, but it's like there is some way that you always wanted to feel fulfilled, that you wanted to expand and really experience life, that never felt possible for you. And it really had you down on yourself. You didn't feel like, oh, this is never going to happen for me, is something that I felt, especially with the Fool in reverse. It's like a lot of false starts where you might have had plans to do this or do that, or, you know, go on a trip, travel, right? With this Knight of Wands, it's like doing things that make you feel good, that you're passionate about. But with the Queen of Cups in reverse, it's like you couldn't quite get there for whatever reason. And you felt like maybe this is not meant for me. It's not in alignment. Maybe this is why it's not happening, or, you know, why doesn't the universe have my back is what I'm feeling with this Queen of Cups in reverse. That it kind of probably made you feel really depressed, or like the universe was punishing you and questioning, you know, why am I even here, you know, with this Fool in reverse. Because the Fool is all about trusting the universe, that no matter what happens, that the spirit will catch you, you know, and that you can launch yourself and do whatever that you want to do. Like in the Rider-Waite-Smith version of the Fool card, dude is literally walking off a cliff because he has his head in the clouds and he's walking off of a cliff, and he's got a smile on his face and he is none the wiser, but he just trusts. It's about trust. And there might have been situations in your life that made you feel like you couldn't trust yourself, or you couldn't trust other people when they said things would happen, that it would actually come through. And that's something that I don't know if I said that or not when I turned over this card about agreements and broken promises with this Ring card, and how with you leveling up your boundaries, how that was going to change. Yeah, because this Queen of Cups in reverse feels like a lot of disappointment in your life, where there are a lot of things that you wanted to do and experience that you basically couldn't make it happen. And it wasn't because of you, it was because of other people in your life that were kind of throwing salt on it or holding you back is what I feel, especially with the Fool in reverse and the Queen of Cups in reverse. It's like things that you really felt like, this will add to my life experience, this will add something to enrich my life, and you weren't able to experience that, and it made you feel like you were missing out, like real bad FOMO vibes. And you know, with this developing over time and the good stuff, I feel like this would really be coming from your family, especially with family legacy. And that's why I was getting some Saturn vibes, that, you know, Saturn, especially with these boundaries and developing over time, family legacy, it could be, you know, that your family was quite overprotective of you and they were always afraid that something was going to happen. And I know this castle says alignment, but what I'm getting from this castle really feels like you being kind of hidden away or sheltered and not feeling in control of your life, and feeling like you're not able to call the shots and say, I want to do this, I'm going to make it happen. Even as you progressed into your adult life, you felt like you had to ask permission to live your life. And I want to say to you, like, I'm sorry, that is very unfair, because anybody who has Saturn strong in their charts, you know, Saturn rules over time. Saturn's other name is Chronos, you know, and that is another word that has its roots in or relation to time. And our time on this earth is really finite. And sometimes when you look back, you can feel really crappy over the things and the experiences that you missed that you felt like would enrich you with this wine, like this ripening, the experiences that would have really added something to your life that you could look back on. Not just things, you know, but pictures and memories and the people that you could have met, the things you could have done that you might feel robbed of because you felt like someone else was calling the shots in your life, that and now you're leading. That's what I was feeling. Yeah, that you really are owning your agency and your power. And, you know, I really hate the term victim mentality, because it's okay to admit that you were victimized, you know, and this feels like you were really victimized by circumstance, by other people telling you what you could and couldn't do with your life. And it felt, you know, I'm getting like prison vibes, you know, where it's like you literally had to ask permission to breathe. And, you know, if you didn't do things by the book or the way that somebody else thought that you should live, the way that they said, excuse me, that it's almost like you felt like they were icing you out with these boundaries. Like you weren't modeled healthy boundaries, because they could literally just like slam the door in your face if they felt like you weren't living in alignment with what they wanted for you. Then they were more than happy to ice you out and make you feel like you're all by yourself. Figure it out. And through those experiences, they're awful. They're terrible. Trust me, I've been there in various iterations of my life. Those lessons have, like, you've earned your stripes. You've earned the right, to call the shots in your life and to be able to say, like, this is what I will accept, this is what I won't accept, and that I deserve to, take up space on this planet and experience the fruits of the earth just as much as anyone else. I'm deserving because I'm here. I don't have to earn it. Where you might have felt like people made you feel like you had to, like, work harder, or you weren't doing enough to be able to experience certain things that you do. You just do. So let me go ahead and get some more oracle cards. And I love this deck. This is the Metaphysical Cannabis Oracle. It's kind of a tarot hybrid deck, a tarot and oracle deck together. So we're going to clarify some of these cards, your tarot cards. Spirit, what else do you have for pile 2? Yeah, I'm sorry. That really sucks. Because time is the one thing that we can't get back. Once time is gone, it's done with. And I really feel that for you, pile 2, is that there might be a feeling, even though you're stepping into your power, of a lot of regret for things that you missed out on that didn't happen, that you could have experienced, and you're looking, back on that. But I just want to say, if you feel bad about it, or you feel like you could have done more or said more or spoken out more, that's not your fault. Because the ways that some people disempower us, sometimes it's to hold things over us. Our sense of safety, is what I see with this castle card. And, with Gaia, because, Gaia, the earth that we inhabit, can also speak to, especially with this tree in the background, like our family, our roots, and where we call home, where we feel safe. And you could have felt threatened with, I won't have a place to go, where, who else am I going to turn to? I rely on these people. And, there could have been situations where that was kind of held over you, where those commitments, those family bonds, those alliances, those promises weren't kept, where it's family's duty, especially, your caregivers, not to abandon you. Okay, and we got Mami Wata, memory. Just make some more space here. What do we have for pile 2? Spirit, what do we have for pile 2? Yeah, it can make it really hard to trust again. So, if that's you, pile 2, I'm really, really sorry. And, if this is hitting, can you put a ring in the comment section and, let me know. You don't have to be specific or share anything that you don't want to share. I just want to know if I'm on the right track. You can put a ring or a wine glass or both, and let me know if that would be your way of letting me know if this is, if I'm on the right track with this reading, because that's really what I'm picking up. I love feedback. I love hearing from all of you guys and knowing whether or not, these messages are hitting, because I get some very specific messages from Spirit. And we got Divine Feminine, the Void. And I feel like this goes along with Gaia. And whether you are a man, woman, non-binary, whatever, we all have Divine Feminine energy within us. So I don't necessarily gender my cards, but we have, I believe, masculine, feminine energy. We have energy that defies being defined by gender. That's my personal philosophy. That's the way that my guides kind of speak to me about it. There's some energies that just, they defy that kind of gender definition. And I can see that in myself as well. And we got autonomy. See, being able to call the shots in your life, leadership, of being able to say, like, I love Pretty Woman. And I guess, you guys might be my movie crew that loves to watch a lot of movies, a lot of films. This autonomy card just reminds me of Pretty Woman, where she says, I say who, I say when, I say how much. Like, boundaries. I say who, I say when, I say how much. Not you, me. And really feeling, really, like, that's on period. Like, that's, there's no discussion. And I love that. I love that energy. It feels like, you don't even have to, like, get mad about it. It just is what it is. And people are going to feel that, difference in energy from you. And they're really you know, they might try you a couple times, but it's going to feel really different to them. And at first they might not know how to respond to that, but that's good feedback sometimes, because the way that other people respond to your boundaries says more about them than it does about you. It really says, if people get upset with you for setting a boundary, that they're upset at the fact that they can't use you anymore, that they can't overstep and cross, you know, your boundaries to get what they want. So they were using you anyway, and it's time for them to exit stage left. They're not good for you. But if you put up a boundary, and, you know, it could be really good to just say, hey, I'm doing this so that we can continue a relationship because I want you in my life. Sometimes when you frame that for people, they may feel less of a sense of rejection. I know for myself, like I'm ADHD and I'm autistic, that I learned about RSD, which is rejection sensitive dysphoria, that sometimes a response to other people's boundaries is not like for people who have those kind of neurodivergence, that it's not necessarily that they're upset that they can't use you. It could feel like a rejection to them, and it could be just helpful the way that you frame it of like, hey, I'm doing this so that we can like maintain our relationship, not to attack you or anything. So if you feel uncomfortable at first setting boundaries, or there is a particular person that you know might have some kind of sensitivity like that, I mean, do what you want, obviously. Like, I'm never gonna like tell you what to do. These are all just suggestions. You use your discernment, but it might be helpful to frame it that way for people to respond well to your boundaries. And other people, they might need a little bit more force in talking to. It just will depend on the situation. But this is a newer deck to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this Mami Wata card because I really vibe with her energy. I have a couple other goddess decks that she is in, and I'm going to go ahead and read that memory card. It says, the Dogon creation myth tells the story of Mami Wata and dates back over 4,000 years. A figure is floating in the ocean with a large red and black snake around her shoulders. Her tail bursts with emerald greens, and her hair encompasses everything around her. Mami Wata is the spiritual and material oracle and comes to you when you're going to gain something if you call upon her for help. She loves to help women and will protect the sacred waters around her at all cost. Her eyes hold a stern gaze that shines intensely. The water in this card is a major factor, as Mami Wata will use the water to prove a point or teach a lesson if her messages are not received. Many people seek the help of Mami Wata by dancing themselves into a trance. This card could be a sign of fertility. Okay. Well, to me, this really goes along with this Queen of Cups in reverse, especially being that she is a mermaid goddess and that she is a goddess of protection. To call on her, and really with the sign of fertility, going along with Gaia and the divine feminine, that you're really stepping into that energy of leveling up and being able to receive from the universe and to receive from other people. And I got that message as well in pile 1. So if you were thinking about or felt called to pile 1, you may want to look at that. Excuse me. But I feel like that could be, a big message for the collective right now about receiving and being more open to what others have to offer us, and really be in flow is something else that's coming through. Because not only is there earth energy in this Mami Wata, this Gaia card, she's standing in water. She's holding a flame. So all of the elements are present here. There's earth, there's air, wind is circling her. She's holding a flame, and she's standing in water. It's like everything is there at your disposal. Another thing I'm going to read is this divine feminine, because I really feel like there is a lot of feminine energy. And again, that doesn't mean that like this is only for women. We all have divine feminine energy, but what I'm really getting from it is a sense of receptivity and kind of like a protection of what is sacred around you, what is sacred to you, what is important to you, is what's coming through. And yeah, it's like holding those things close to you with these boundaries in a way that feels not guarded, but kind of soft, with this feminine energy. It's not necessarily outward shows of force. It's just being kind of a fortress, or a, if you look at a castle, it's very fortified. So yeah, that's what's coming through. Sorry, it took a minute for that to come through. Yeah, to just being spiritually and materially fortified, and intellectually, mentally fortified, Yeah, in all ways is really what's coming through. So let me go ahead and get the book, and I'm going to also read Divine Feminine. It says, the masculine and feminine aspects of you are in balance. Okay, see, this card brings feelings of comfort, love, kindness, compassion, and tolerance. Menstruation and birth are considered rites of passage or internal initiations. Men have also undergone their sacred initiations to be able to enter this integration and fulfill their purpose. It is in the blackness of the void, the womb, that the seed alchemizes and begins to grow. Sleep with this card under your pillow to receive messages from your subconscious and other oracles who may be trying to come to you. Each soul is encrypted with a divine journey and blueprint, but we know the external factors can shift our growth. No one can truly hurt you when this card appears. You are the one who integrates hurt into compassion and love. And it says, work with citrine, and a new thought pattern is, I am confident and it is safe for me to be powerful. Yes. So yes, coming into your power, feeling a sense of, yes, fortification. Like I literally heard fortify from spirit. And just feeling a sense of being super grounded, especially like with this Queen of Cups in reverse. Sometimes I think of the opposite element, which would be the Queen of Pentacles, who is very comfortable in her skin, who feels, who knows that she has what she needs. Like she has the resources at her disposal to be able to live comfortably, to get her needs met. She has the, ability, even if she doesn't have it in her immediate environment, she has the resources to be able to get what she needs. So yeah, that is something that I feel like you're ripening into, you're coming into, you're developing and really feeling empowered. So let's go ahead and get some more tarot cards. And these are the good stuff that's coming into your life. So no matter what comes up, they're going to be read positively. So what is the good stuff that is showing up for pile 2 over the next 6 months? What is the good stuff coming in for pile 2? Okay, the Hierophant. Two of Cups. All right, that's beautiful. We have for pile 2. It's coming in for pile 2. Spirit, what's coming in for pile 2? What is the good stuff that's coming in for pile 2? And the Seven of Swords. Okay. And yeah, definitely check out pile 1 because they also got the Seven of Swords. And you know what? Before I get into this, I forgot to pull your tea leaf cards to see what else Spirit had for that. Okay. Okay. Look at that. Grapes. Time to go out and have fun. Love that. So yeah, up here where you felt like you weren't able to really expand, go out and see the world, experience the world, like you're recovering some of that lost time. Time to go out and have fun. Okay. All right. I don't feel like those were your cards. I think they just got away from me. Let's see. Okay. Well, you got this one that came out upright. Chain of events that will affect your life. So yeah, it's almost like something is coming that will create a ripple effect. And that really does tie in with this developing over time. And literally it says the good stuff. So chain of events that will affect your life. I'm really feeling for the positive. Let's see if we can get one more. Spirit, other tea leaf message do we have? Oh, April. Okay, so April is a significant month for you. Whether it's this coming April of this year or just in general, every April might be significant. If you have a birthday in April or an anniversary in April, something that you celebrate in April, that April is significant for you, that I feel like there's this chain of events kind of, it either gets started or it culminates, or you'll see something that is a sign that this is developing in April. Like there's something that has some significance. Whenever you're watching this, the April that is coming. So even if you're not watching this in 2022 and April 2023 has already passed, then it would be April 2024, or take it how it applies. So let's go ahead and look at your oracle cards of the good stuff, since we literally got a card that says the good stuff. I love when messages align like that. So you got the Hierophant, the Two of Cups, the Seven of Swords. And yeah, I feel like with this, you've earned all your stripes. The Hierophant is a card of wisdom, and it can rule teachers, it can rule spiritual knowledge, it can rule knowledge in general. But it feels like there are going to be people that really seek you out for the wisdom that you have. Like, you've earned your stripes and you're coming into being a leader because of what you know, the wisdom that you've acquired. And people are really going to be seeking that out, especially, let's see, with this alchemy. I really feel that you'll be alchemizing the lessons that you've learned, and people will want a piece of that, and not in a bad way. It's like they want some of your magic. They want to learn from you. And in that way, it's like you are creating a community where everybody is their own teacher. Like, they have a message where they can teach others, and everyone is communicating and contributing to the whole with this Gaia, where it's like no one is above another person. And it really is a shared kind of exchange. An exchange of energy is really what I'm getting. And with this time to go out and have fun, it could be that, it's a social group that you're creating, like an online community or even an in-person community. But I really see it being centered around spiritual knowledge, or, some kind of philosophical belief, something that really speaks to the wisdom and the knowledge that you have gained over time and over basically over your lifetime. I'm getting the message right now. Okay, I just heard from Spirit. Okay, the chain of events that will affect your life. This is literally your life path. So this isn't even just now. This is from the time that you incarnated. Like, your life path has been a chain of events that were basically triggered, to lead you exactly to where you are. So if you feel like you have lost time, because, we were talking about that before, Spirit is saying you're exactly where you're meant to be, and that nothing was a mistake. That doesn't mean that, like, anything bad that happened to you was for a divine purpose. It just means that everything that you have experienced, every chain of events that was set off since the time that you were born, has led you to this moment where you are you are a mystic. You are a infinitely, like, wise person. You have something unique to share. And with this Two of Cups, this really feels like a new level of intimacy with yourself as well, like really coming into a place where you love yourself, you cherish yourself, you value yourself, you're really in touch with your higher self, because this isn't just relationships with other people. And I feel like because of the relationship that you've developed to yourself and the valuing of all of the things that you have been through and the stripes that you've earned and really leveling up, that you're able to really be present in your relationships. And like what I said with Hierophant, and me feeling like you're starting something, leading some kind of community. With this Two of Cups, it's very similar to Lover's energy, even though it's a two, that it's like a sharing of resources, a mutual sharing of knowledge. Sorry, let me close this curtain. Yeah, so it's a sharing, equal exchange of energy. Like, nobody feels like, I'm the alpha, I'm the leader, I know more than you about this. Like, each person has a unique contribution that is equal, and nobody is like the main character of the story. Like, everybody is their own main character, and it's kind of like you're setting up with leadership. Like, you're kind of leading the charge and showing the way of how you can function as a community in a way that is really balanced and equal. Yeah, that's something I'm really feeling. And with the Seven of Swords, I feel like it's gonna like piss some people off in the beginning, and you might have some haters and some naysayers and people that might try to like break your boundaries and test your boundaries, or kind of throw shade at you or say shit behind your back, like, oh, who does she think she is, or who does he think he is? Why are they doing this? And that's already been done before, or oh, it's not that great. Anybody could do that. Those are the kind of things that haters will say. But it's like they wouldn't be talking about you if you weren't worth talking about, is something that I'm getting. So it's like the Seven of Swords. What I'm seeing with that is like every little like sling or arrow that somebody tries to like throw dirt at you behind your back, it's almost like gonna come back on them and be like PR for you, is what Spirit is saying. Like, it's gonna prove your point. It's gonna actually draw people to you, because they're gonna see just how, it's not true, like how untrue it is, because you're really leading from a heart-centered place. And the things that people kind of try to say at you or throw at you that's negative energy, it won't stick to you. It's really not going to stick. That's really, really coming through. Okay, so that's really amazing, pile 2. All right, so what we're going to look at now is some signs. So I'm going to pull 2 oracle cards of signs that might come along your path over these next 6 months. And let me see what that was, but it didn't feel like your card. Okay, you got journey, but I'm going to put that back, and if it's meant to come out again, it will. So, because it didn't exactly feel like your card, but all right. What signs do you have for pile 2, Spirit? What signs do you have for pile 2? Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. Love. And this feels like all kinds of love, like platonic love, romantic love, if you want that. Love in partnerships that, mutual partnerships that are beneficial. If there's like a business that you're trying to start, or a project that you're trying to start where it takes some sort of collaboration, that it's really going to be heart-centered. And that, yeah, that's really, really beautiful. So like you're coming into a period, yeah, with this 2 of Cups as well, like of really loving yourself and inviting a lot more love into your life. This is very similar to pile 1. So if you intuitively like felt drawn to pile 1, you may want to watch that pile as well, because these 2 messages seem very related. All right, let's see. What else do we have for pile 2? Oh, that's too many. Oh, that is so beautiful. Stars. Look, you got heart and star, divine guidance. So your guides are really walking this path with you. And see, just like I felt, it's like, I think we're all here at this time for a special reason, but this feels like you incarnated specifically, like you chose to come here. And this feels like old soul energy. Like you might identify with, or be really connected to your past lives. If you believe in past lives, you might have reincarnated a lot. And this might be like you chose to come at this time for these specific reasons. And this Hierophant energy really is your final, I'm not going to say test, but ultimately it's where you get to share everything, all the wisdom that your soul has acquired over lifetimes. I'm really feeling that. Like you are so connected to spirit. You have a really strong spirit team, and you're very, very connected to your heart chakra. Definitely keep doing heart chakra work if you do any meditations, or imagining a green orb around your heart center. You can, Google is free, you can look at different ways to open your heart chakra and keep it open as well. But it feels like that is really, really connected for you, that you have a lot of energy that radiates from that people will really be attracted to. Like your energy is so beautiful. It's magnetic. It's really, I don't want to say hypnotic necessarily, but that is something that I just heard. But it's almost like there's this spiritual pheromone or some kind of like frequency that you put out that just starts to draw people in. That's really developing. It's like, yeah, developing over time. And see, and it even says flavor here, ripening. It's like your heart chakra frequency, is like really coming into a really a ripeness, such a fullness that it's like people really will, you radiate it. I'm sorry, you radiate it. That's what spirit is showing me. It's like almost like, you walk into a space and you're lit up from your heart center. Like people can see your glow around you, or at least feel it from your heart center. So that's really cool, pile 2. Okay, so I'm gonna shuffle some affirmations and see what else spirit has for you. Spirit, what affirmations do you have for pile 2? Oh look. Look at that. I just said something about heart center energy and this rose. Yes, it's like the energy I put out is equal to the energy I receive. So you're going to be putting out this frequency that is pure love, and people are going to respond so much to it. It's like really intoxicating, and you're going to receive so much back. It's going to feel unreal. Like, you know, the community, or, you know, whatever it is that you've been searching for and seeking with this Knight of Wands, like it's really seeking you back. Yeah, that's really beautiful, pile 2. Let's see what else. Spirit, what else do you have for pile 2? Spirit, what else do you have for pile 2? Oh. Spirit, what affirmation message do you have for pile 2? Okay. All right, see, look, similar. Breathing in, I send myself love. Breathing out, I send love to someone else who needs it. And that's really gonna, literally, this 2 of Cups, this heart energy is that you're giving to yourself, and in return, you are spreading that outward. But it really is gonna start with you. It's starting with your love and regard for yourself. And that's really, really amazing, where it's like you really come to love yourself, to know yourself, to respect yourself, and to really, you know, what is it that I'm thinking? It's like to really not appreciate, but yeah, it really is an appreciation, not for what you went through, but for the ways that you've survived and the ways that you've handled things with, when you really felt like you may not have been able to make it through. Like, how am I going to do this? And you're like, damn, I did that. I'm still here. I'm still standing, you know, and you shouldn't have had to, pile 2. That's for sure. Like, I don't think anybody's suffering is for a purpose, but it's like you're giving yourself your flowers. You're giving yourself the appreciation that you deserve. Like, you're really applauding yourself and feeling proud of yourself, feeling proud of your journey. And it's really going to affect the way that you are, you know, facing the world, like forward facing. Okay, and these are self-care messages. So, Spirit, what do you have? Okay, and we have focus. And I'm going to read this out of the book, but let me go ahead and get one more and see what else Spirit might have for you. Spirit, what do you have for pile 2? What self-care message? Oh my God, I just got like a ringing in my left ear. So it feels like Spirit's really trying to come through and say that self-care is going to be important, especially with all of the energy that you're putting out. Make sure that you're pouring into yourself, right? Like breathing in, I send myself love. That's going to be very important. Breathing in and sending yourself energy and recharging your energy. Okay, and didn't I just say recharge your energy? Unplug. Okay, focus and unplug. All right, so if you've been scattering your energy a lot, or giving attention to things that, you know, kind of drain you, is something that Spirit is saying. You might have to kind of give yourself limits, set some loving boundaries with yourself, so that you can preserve your energy, because you have such an important purpose, and it's really important to give yourself time to recharge, rest, recharge, take care of yourself and your vessel. So I'm going to go ahead and read focus, because seeing that camera, I'm really thinking about, you know, whatever you're doing too. It could really, with all of this Venusian type energy, it could involve something very artistic. And yeah, that's really, really cool. Today is good to narrow your focus on 1 or 2 main things, especially if you're used to multitasking and doing a lot of things at once. This can lead to burnout and seeing lack of progress. If you like photography, grab a camera or a phone camera and go take some fun photos of anything you'd like. Let your creativity thrive. Use the zoom lens. It's fun to see things close up because we're not used to it. It says summary, grab a camera and go take some fun pictures. Focus on one thing today if you're doing too many things. And you know what, were you the pile where I said that you might have felt like you missed out on experiences where like you could have collected memories, like photos to look back on? Yeah, I think this was the pile where like Spirit is saying it's time to kind of like reclaiming my time, like take some of that time and focus on yourself and the things that, you know, you used to love, if preserving memories and building a scrapbook, or, taking pictures of things that were beautiful. If photography was something that you were really interested in, cataloging some of those special memories is important self-care for you. So that's really, really important for you. I love that, pile 2. And let me read unplug. Have you been spending too much time on social media or texting? Time to unplug. This may be challenging for a lot of people, especially if your work requires you to be online, but try to take some time offline. If you must, notify your family and or clients that you'll be away for a bit and not to panic. Turn on your airplane mode and read a book or go outside. Play with your kids or pets. Summary: disconnect from social media today. Log out, hide your apps, or turn on airplane mode. Very, very important. Yes, because I think sometimes like social media and connectivity and stuff is great, but we don't realize what a drain it can be on our energy just scrolling and what it is that we're consuming and how much time that we are giving to those things that, energetically it's not feeding us back. So, and that doesn't mean not to take time to do that stuff. Like I love Twitter just like the next person, but I have really noticed lately that, like, especially, for me, that sometimes I will look at the clock and I'm like, oh my God, I only meant to be on here for like 10 minutes. It's been an hour and I could have put that time towards doing something more productive, even though it's cool. I love it that I've been really connected to more people in the autistic community, in the spiritual community, and it's a very valuable resource for me. I also need time to unplug, and sometimes like I need to maybe put up a tweet that says like, today I am dedicating myself to doing work or planning my next video or spending time with my kids, just so I feel like I'm setting a boundary with myself and kind of letting people know so I don't feel that guilt about giving myself the time to unplug that I need. So if that's you too, like you really need to consider that, where you might feel like you can't if there are people that expect you to be online, or if you have an online social media presence and you're expected to post a certain amount of times, that maybe there is a boundary that you need to set with your following, where you only accept DMs on certain days, or you tell people that I can't get back to you right away. That doesn't mean that I'm ignoring you or anything, but you're letting people know, and you're kind of giving yourself a break, because I know sometimes with me, I can feel kind of guilty when I don't respond to people right away, and then like I get stressed and anxious about it, and then it's like a whole cycle. But it's really important for your health to take time and unplug and sit in silence, or go for a walk, or just do nothing, but just without all of the distractions that keep you from really being able to hear your own thoughts, your own self, and with this divine guidance, to hear the voice of spirit, where they really try to connect with you, but with all the other distractions and constant stimulation, their messages might not be able to get through at the times that you need to hear them. So that's something that's really important for you. All right, pile 2. Well, that is all I'm seeing for you. Those are all the messages that I'm seeing, and I really hope that you receive them well, that these resonated with you. Again, if they did hit, leave me a ring emoji, a wine glass emoji, or both. If you feel like that, and if you want to share any of your stories, I'd love to hear them. I read every comment. I respond, maybe not right away, but like I'm saying, like I said in this reading, as soon as I possibly can. And I really appreciate all of your comments, your likes, your shares, your subscribes. I really, really would appreciate if you do that for this video. If you would like it and give it a thumbs up, it really helps YouTube to get my videos in the algorithm and promote the channel and keep it growing. I really, really appreciate all of you just for being here. But I would really love for these messages to spread and get to the people that need to hear them. So any bit of support that you can give me with your likes, subscribes, and shares are so, so greatly appreciated. But I hope that you have a great day, a great month, a great season, everything. And I will see you in the next video, pile 2. Take care. Hello, pile 3, and welcome to your reading. This is for the pile that chose the music note and the unicorn charm, and also the Good Karma Tarot. So what we're going to be looking at today is what is exiting your life and what's entering it over the next 6 months. And this reading is timeless, and as well, time is not linear. So this could be a situation that has already been present in your life before the 6-month period, or it could be something that's starting within this 6-month period, or just a repeating theme. But whenever you see this message, it is when you are meant to hear it the most, and it will cover the 6-month period from the time that you view this video. Okay, so what we're going to do is flip over these oracle cards. I will have some more tarot and oracle cards that we'll pull on camera, and we will get a full view of what's going on for you. So let's go ahead and see what Spirit has for you. Okay, rebirth. Beautiful. And you know what, before I keep pulling, I just want to say, you guys, your pile was the hardest to shuffle for. Like the cards just did not want to come out, and I kept seeing like somebody like walking around in the dark with like their hands out, just like searching and searching and searching. So you might have felt like that, or you might feel like that right now, where you feel like you can't even see like what's in front of your face, metaphorically or, you know, spiritually. I'm not talking about physically, unless, you know, you are without sight, but I'm talking about more situationally, where you feel like you're seeking and you literally can't see the situation for what it is. Like you're trying to feel into it or feel around it. So yeah, like the cards were being very coy. Spirit was like not making it easy for me to pin down your energy. So I felt like whatever this is the situation, feels very mysterious. And this is the only pile that felt like that. So yeah, I just felt like I should say that. Okay, desire, rebirth and desire. Very interesting. Ooh, I'm feeling some reignition of like flames or like kundalini energy. Interesting. Okay, wolf instinct. This feels very primal, sexual, and that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be sex with other people. It could be your sexuality in itself. Yeah, faith. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Voyage. You already have all the answers. Okay, well, that's interesting considering the way that I was feeling, that like it feels like you're in the dark about something, and Spirit's literally saying you have all the answers. They're inside of you. Yeah, that's interesting. All right, let's see what else we have. Tracks. Steady forward movement, one way, go the distance, direct route, autopilot, traveling. I think I can, on track, focal point. Okay. And we hear light bulb. This is so funny. Like, I don't look at these cards when I shuffle. Like, I shuffle with my eyes closed and like try to hurry up and like face down if I do see like a picture. But like, aha moment. Okay, you have all the answers, and aha moment. Discovery, breakthrough, reveal, realize, enlightenment, epiphany, illumination, invention, intellect. Whoa. Okay. This is... Okay, if you haven't had a Kundalini awakening, or a spiritual awakening, or you feel like you might have kind of had a peek into one before and you weren't sure about it, I'm literally like getting from Spirit, this is it. So yeah, you guys are getting like the full spiritual package, like the full psychic package. Whoa. This is wild. Like, if you have been manifesting more like psychic gifts or spiritual gifts, or more of a connection opening up of your gifts, you know, I see this desire is not just sexual connection. It could be like the verdict is still out for me on twin flames. Like, I feel like there's a lot of problematic information that I ran into when I was watching a lot of twin flame videos and reading about them and stuff. It really sounded like relationships that kind of excuse abuse or toxicity, or, you know, that's my twin flame, and, you know, you go through a lot of like traumatic experiences, and it's all for your growth and you're half of a soul. Like, I don't believe in that at all. But this feels like, I definitely believe in soulmates, and I feel like everybody that comes along our path is a soulmate in some way or another, but finding a divine counterpart almost. And it's interesting that I said Kundalini energy, because look at how this flame is like coiling around these two people. And it's almost like, it's so interesting that each pile I have said, like very like Scorpio 8th house energy, because at the time of this filming, even if you're watching this in the future, it's still timeless, but the south node of the moon is in Scorpio. So we are letting go of a lot and processing a lot of deep past trauma and kind of composting. And, you know, that really speaks to death and rebirth, and a rebirth of your desire. You could be doing a lot of work on your sacral center, and really feeling like you're reborn. And with this this bat here, I'm really getting the feeling that you're going to literally be hearing messages from spirit, because I'm getting like messages about how bats communicate like sonar. And it's almost like you're not going to believe that you're receiving messages this way. But yeah, it's like you weren't finding the answers, or you didn't feel like you were getting the answers that you were seeking in like developing your spirituality, or trying to get in touch with your spirit team or your guides. And it might have been like shaking your faith and made you feel like, you know, why does it seem like everybody else can kind of like get in sync and find their place and unlock their gifts? What's wrong with me kind of feeling is what I'm getting. But it's like all of this stuff was kind of happening on the inside, especially I get with this wolf and the moon. And actually you've got moon imagery. There's a moon in this card. There's a moon with the wolf. Moons are very, wolves are very lunar is how I think of them. And also there is a new moon in this rebirth card, and new moons are all about setting intentions and new beginnings. So this is literally about seeing your manifestations kind of come in, or you know, the new moon is kind of a symbol of the intention that you set to be more in sync with your spirituality. And it's like this light bulb, this aha moment is almost like the full moon period, where it's the harvest of all of the manifestations that you have kind of laid down, where you didn't necessarily feel like you were doing anything, but you were doing a lot. You were laying down tracks that were kind of propelling you to this moment. So even if you didn't feel like that, pile 3, you've been doing a lot of work on the spiritual plane. And even if you didn't feel like you were keeping the faith, there was something in your beliefs and inside of you, in this small part of you, even if you felt like, oh my God, this isn't going to happen, that it's like a part of you kept the faith, and instinctually, like, you knew that this path was meant for you. And you know, it's going to look different for all of you, but whatever it is that your gifts are, because we all have psychic gifts, we all have spiritual gifts, and I think we can all unlock those gifts. It's just that we all, you know, some of us are better at certain things than others. It doesn't mean that we don't have the potential for other things. Like one person might be really good at astral projection. You might be really good at clairaudience and hearing messages from spirit. You might have several things that psychically you are very tuned into. It's almost like you're unlocking what it is that you are instinctually naturally good at, and then also developing the ability to kind of harness those things that you might not necessarily, that don't necessarily come easy to you, but that you have the desire to learn. And it's like you're having a breakthrough where you can kind of, you almost have this more spiritual consistency as something else that's coming through. And it's like the answers are being revealed to you. And with this instinct, and you already have the answers, it's like you're going to be amazed at how much you already know that you didn't realize that you knew. It's almost like you've been absorbing a lot of information and spiritual knowledge that you didn't even realize that, you know, you have learned over the course of your life, or possibly lifetimes, that has lived within you on a cellular level, on a soul level. And it's like an awakening, a rebirth, a rising, like the phoenix from the ashes of, you know, several cycles of dying and being reborn again, metaphorically, to different cycles. Yeah, that's really interesting, pile 3. That's big. That's a big deal. And it's like, yeah, with this desire card, I'm really feeling that that sense of like magnetism, that spiritual magnetism. And one thing I'm getting, and that's not to scare you, is that you might need to do some work on grounding, rooting, protection, because with desire, it's like your energy might feel very tasty. That's just the way it's coming through. And you might attract some things that you may not mean to, because that is not your fault. It's like, spirits, not all of them mean us well, but it's going to be important for you to kind of have your protection game up. And, you might have some moments that are really like, a light bulb moment, or you might realize that, if you've been feeling drained, that there might be things around you that are kind of feeding off of your energy, because you have such a strong presence that you're coming into, that you really need to make sure that you got your protection game up. That's just something that's really specifically, that's coming through, that spirit wanting me to make sure that I say, because with this desire, a lot of things are going to be coming to you, and a lot of people will be attracted to you, and not everybody means us well. It really sucks, but that is how the world works. And some people are the negative manifestation of this wolf. They are wolves in sheep's clothing. They will come to you looking like they mean you well when they really are, you know, working against you. And that's something that you really have to be aware of and kind of keep your, you know, keep your spiritual protection game up, learn how to do some rituals and some, you know, wear an evil eye or whatever it is that, you know, feels natural and aligned to you. Learn some return to sender spells, whatever it is that, you know, is of your tradition. But that just felt really important to me. And it's almost like with you have all the answers that it's like you'll kind of know because you're really coming into trusting your intuition, that it's like your higher self, your guide's spirit is really gonna be sending you signs, and you'll feel it. You'll feel it. And it's interesting. You got tracks and voyage here. Yeah, that's funny. I was saying something about astral travel because I feel like, at least, you know, for some of you, that astral travel might be something where it's like an aha moment where you might be like lucid dreaming or like in meditation or like in your dream space, and you realize like that you're in another dimension or you're like in the 5D, you're, you know, and it's like a holy shit kind of moment, like where it kind of all of a sudden like crystallizes and it's like, I'm really doing this. So that's interesting. So, you know, and that it could be that you're traveling also to, you know, a spiritual kind of retreat. That's possible, but this feels more like a, not a physical trip, but more of a, you know, on the astral plane or the spiritual plane. So that's really, really cool. So cool, pile 3. Okay, well, let me fix my camera really quick and then I'm gonna pull some tarot cards to open this up. All right, I'm back. Okay, while I was fixing my camera, it's so interesting. I just heard from Spirit. It was like, you couldn't see what was coming because like it was meant to be slowly revealed to you like at this time. There's an element of divine timing in what is happening to you right now. It's like you're meant to come into these gifts right now. So I've already pre-shuffled your tarot cards. So let's take a look at your journey so far. Spirit, what do you have for pile 3? Oh, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Okay, that makes sense for how I felt like, you know, you might have been feeling like, oh, you know, why isn't this happening for me? Like, or the wheel wasn't turning in your favor where you were trying to manifest certain things. This card is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter, you know, is the planet of abundance, of gifts and manifestation. And yeah, that you might have felt like your manifestations were not coming true or coming to fruition, and that like your magic wasn't working, but it for sure is. It is. So you will definitely have confirmation of that. That is so cool. Let's see. Spirit, what else do you have for pile 3? Spirit, what tarot messages do you have for pile 3? Oh, look at that. The Fool. It's so interesting how some of, like, I'm using different tarot decks, but some of the same cards are coming out. So the pile 2 got the Fool in reverse for one of their tarot cards. So you might be interested in the message that's coming from that pile, because there was, you know, there's some themes of like spirituality and mysticism that came out for pile 2. So if you felt that way, like if you weren't sure which pile to pick when you were picking your pile and you were trying to decide between 2 and 3, you might find a message in pile 2. Spirit, what other messages? Oh my God. See, you got 3 major arcana cards. Look at this. And Temperance is the card of divine timing. Yeah, wow. And Temperance is Sagittarius. And the Wheel of Fortune is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. Look how freaking aligned that is. And Sagittarius really does speak to like spiritual expansion, trips, voyages, you know, seeking. And on the back of the deck, look, 4 of Cups. Feeling like there's something missing, FOMO. Like what, seeing these 3 cups and not seeing the offer, what's on offer from the universe. But what I'm getting from this 4 of Cups on the back of the deck is you weren't meant to see it yet. Like it was, all this stuff was working behind the scenes. So that is really freaking cool, pile 3. Yeah. So this really lines up with exactly what I was feeling. It's like with the Wheel of Fortune and the Fool, it's like you know what? And the Fool, also came out in pile 1. Holy crap, I think all 3 of these piles are connected. Yeah, it's like you felt like, you had a run of bad luck. Things weren't quite working out for you. It's like, there is something that I want to do. I want to explore. I want to expand. I want to go on a spiritual journey and kind of feel, like I have experienced a connection with the divine. And you might have kind of felt like your faith was shaken, because temperance is all about believing in something that is bigger than us, and a sense of balance. And it might have felt like you were a little bit off balance or not in touch with spirit. And there's a feeling of like loneliness here too, especially with this desire here, and that is what is coming to you. That the Fool is very much going out on a journey by themselves, and with temperance, it's exploring, and it's like you're ready to make connections as well. So you've been on a real internal journey, whether you realize it or not. You've traveled spiritually and acquired a lot of spiritual knowledge that's going to feel like, when you unlock it, that a lot more than you realize, and you'll give yourself credit for knowing a lot more than you might feel like a novice. But actually, that's a good thing, because sometimes on the spiritual path, you will meet people who feel like they know it all. They're not open to seeing other sides of what other people believe. They're very closed-minded and dogmatic, and this feels like you will, with this Fool here, have an eternal beginner's mind, and that is beautiful, pile 3. It's like every day there's something new to discover, there's something new to learn, and you're not afraid to change your mind. So this is kind of the path that you've been on inside, whether you realize it or not, and you have more wisdom inside of yourself than you realize, because one of the smartest things that someone can say is, I don't know. And not a lot of people are willing to admit when they're wrong, or admit when they don't know something. They will kind of talk and talk and talk to fill the silence and make themselves like feel and look important, to make up for the fact that they might feel a little insecure. But what I'm getting from you is like, you're already miles ahead of a lot of people who might have been on their spiritual path for a long time, just from the fact that you kind of come to it very humble, with this Jupiter energy, this Sagittarian energy. And, the Fool is ruled by Uranus, which, that is the planet of innovation and, really, Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, really forward thinking. So, you come into your spiritual path with a real beginner's mind and a willingness to see things in different ways and look at things in different ways, and to go back and learn the basics over and over and over again. Like, nothing feels like it's too good for you, too basic for you. And it's just a journey of seeking. There is no end. There is no beginning. It really is like the Wheel of Fortune. It's an infinite loop that just keeps turning and turning and turning. And you're really infinitely wise when you come to spirituality already with an attitude of, I'm open to the universe, and the divine, the will, and the willingness to understand. So I really, really love that, because this is where you're coming from, and I'll be pulling some tarot cards for the good stuff for where you're going. But first, let me pull some tea. Oh, no, you know what? Not the tea leaf cards. We're going to clarify this with, I love this deck so much. It's the Metaphysical Cannabis Oracle, and it's like a tarot hybrid. So it's got some like tarot like cards that line up with the major arcana, and then it has oracle cards. So it's really, really cool. And let's see what else Spirit has to say for pile 3. What other messages do you have for pile 3, Spirit? And with this desire, yeah, it also, like, to me, is like an insatiable curiosity, which is really, really beautiful. Like, I love that energy, but it's really like a sign of your faith and belief, that you really are open to really true spirituality, because, there's a difference between being religious and being spiritual. Like, you're willing to learn from all different, various different faith traditions, and really see what aligns for you, what aligns with your truth, and what feels okay. Wow. Look, creation partnered, sex magic. And look, you got that in with desire. Okay. So some of you guys might literally be getting in touch with your sacral and really awakening that Kundalini energy, which is really, really beautiful. And possibly getting into some of the Hindu tradition, if that is something that you're called to, especially with this Sagittarian energy. It feels very ninth house. The ninth house is, things that are foreign to us, that are, that are not, it speaks to far distance, long distance journeys and, things that we are not necessarily familiar with in our culture. So it's like really experiencing something new with this Fool card. It's like you're really on a life journey, like this is just your path to kind of be somewhat of a spiritual nomad is what I'm hearing, and really like open. And like with this sex magic and desire, something else that's coming through is like ethical non-monogamy. So like if you have kind of been curious about it, that might be something that you might decide to explore and get into, where you don't necessarily feel like you have to be tied to one person. And as long as it's consensual and, all parties agree and it's safe and, everybody's of age and all of that, then, what is the problem with it? It's not hurting anyone. And just manifesting through your sexual energy. Yeah, but then we got walking meditation, just go. So more energy of exploration. I love that. So let's see what else we have. But it's really action oriented is what I feel. There's going to be a lot of movement for you where it might have felt like you were standing still. You're really going to be out there, experiencing life, experiencing faith in action is what I'm hearing from Spirit. And look at that manifestor creation. So this is literally being the magician, working magic, being able to see with this light bulb the fruits of your manifestations, to see with your eyes what it is that you are creating through your magical workings, through your spirituality, through your particular path, through what you've learned, the answers that you have, that you are. This is the card actually that corresponds with the magician in regular tarot decks. It's the manifesteur in this deck, but that is mercurial energy, where, like I said, I was getting the beginner's mind of constantly being open to learning, absorbing new information and using it, and also communicating it to other people, what it is that you've learned. And it's going to feel really quirky and interesting. It's like, I get the feeling that you make it your own, and that is really, really beautiful. So let's go ahead, get some tea leaf oracles and see what else Spirit has to say. Okay. Oh my God, you guys got the unicorn charm? And it literally says, a unicorn, use your intuition to make beneficial changes. So yeah, your intuition is going to be guiding you on these spiritual journeys that you're on. And you're going to be exploring so many things, through your spiritual path. Let's see what else, Spirit, what else do you have for pile 3? Yeah, and again, with this Fool, Uranus energy, change maker. You're really going to be affecting a lot of change in people's lives just by being present. Like your presence is really, your presence is very impactful. Whether or not you feel like you're doing anything, you're actually doing a lot. And look, Fox, shrewdness and resourcefulness, especially in business. Okay, so if there is anything where you're kind of trying to make this spiritual path a professional endeavor, yeah, that mercurial energy, your powers of manifestation and stuff, you have the resources, you have the shrewdness, which is, that wisdom, that ability to maneuver. Foxes are very clever. They're very mercurial to me, in my mind, and you can trust your instincts. Foxes and wolves are very instinctual, are definitely animals that I link to instincts and intuition. So yeah. Let's see what else, Spirit. Okay, wow. These synchronicities are wild for you guys. Look, okay, bat. And we got a bat in this card. Take care. Enemies are working against you. Okay, and I said that, like, you're going to have to protect your energy. You're going to have to get your protection game up, where, not everybody means us well. And there might be some people that might feel a little jealous of the way that, all of a sudden it looks like you're leveling up, that your blessings are coming in, and, even if they're doing quite well for themselves, they just, they want what you have. And that's where like you really have to protect your energy sometimes. And yeah, it says Apple, temptation will test you. So yeah, this person, whoever they are, or this thing, it might look really good to you on paper and it might feel really good, but really like listen to your instincts and your intuition, because it won't fail you. And check in with spirit, because sometimes, the energy is very subtle, and people will come to us and things look really good and it's really tempting to want to believe what people say, but their energy really is speaking something entirely different. But you can definitely, trust that you'll be able to see through it, or, if you don't see through it right away, that you'll be able to handle the situation, and that spirit is protecting you, and that also if you need people to show up and come to your aid, that you will kind of have that on your side. So, because you have intuition to make beneficial changes and shrewdness. So like, how to handle it if there are any problems that come along your path. So yeah, just trust in that, but also, trust but verify is what spirit really wants you to do, pile 3. Okay, so I'm going to pull 3 tarot cards, and no matter what comes out, these are the good stuff. Okay, so the good stuff that you can expect. Spirit, what do you have for pile 3? What do you have for pile 3? What is the good stuff for pile 3? Oh. All right, we have the 8 of Cups. Love that. See, you keep getting voyage cards. The 8 of Cups is literally going on a journey. I really relate it closely to the Hermit card, walking into the unknown, but just trusting your path. Very interesting. Spirit, what else do you have? What is the good stuff for pile 3? And this is the good stuff. So like stepping out on faith is really going to lead you to some beautiful places, to some great experiences, to, things that enrich you. Okay, 8 of Pentacles. So these are 8s. 8s are numbers of manifestation. So these are things that you've been manifesting that are harvesting. They are coming in. So that's also the good stuff, is that you can really, like I said, you can trust your magic, because what you put out is literally like, you see the returns of the steps that you've put in, the work, because 8 of Pentacles is doing the process over and over. And with this Magician energy, I really see that as developing a practice and really dedicating yourself to it and seeing the fruits of that, seeing the benefits and the real outcomes. Okay, and look at that, 888, strength. I don't think this 5 of Pentacles was for you. And on the back of the deck, 2 of Swords, being able to trust your decisions. 2 of Swords is all about 2 options. What path do I pick? And you already know the answer. Your intuition knows the answer. That when you're trying to make a decision between 2 things, it's really like the choice is already made, that you just have to listen to yourself and kind of be in stillness. So yeah, with this, you have 3 8s. That is 888 might be a number that you might be seeing, or you will see, that are a confirmation of your manifestations. And if not, that might be something that you want to kind of manifest with. If you have an angel number that you want to add to your spells, or if you're doing a manifestation ritual, adding the number 888 into your sigils or your spell work, whatever, what have you, putting it in your diary, it just feels like something that is very significant, that can kind of, you can almost make a talisman out of. But that 8s are a sign of luck coming to you. And yeah, you're really going to be exploring a lot of new things and gaining a lot of new experiences and wisdom. This card is Saturn in Pisces in astrology, and Saturn is going to ingress into Pisces in March of 2023. This message is timeless, so if you're watching this and Saturn is already in Pisces, this might be a time where you're actually seeing the fruits of those manifestations. And if that's not the case, then it could be that, over this period of time, Saturn is about hard work. It's about, delays and restrictions, but that you've really had to lean on your faith. Pisces is also our belief and it's a sign of spirituality, but this is really you going on a hard journey, and learning how to trust your path is something that is coming through. Because after the Eight of Cups is the Nine of Cups, which is Jupiter in Pisces. It's, at home. Jupiter is at home in Pisces, and you have the Wheel of Fortune here, where it really is about feeling like our faith is blessing us, where we are, pouring into our faith, and our faith is pouring into us. Like, we're in sync with spirit and we feel fulfilled. So that's really beautiful. And then, Virgo, really, this card is Sun in Virgo, and it's the sign of the witch to me. Virgo energy is very witchy. It's very connected to the earth. And it's very connected to ritual and routine. So I see that, like, if you are doing a lot of ritual work, that you're really putting your heart and soul into it, and you're dedicating yourself to that practice, that, like, you're really going to see the outcomes. And, there might be, again, like, some jealousy when people see, like, oh, these things are happening for so-and-so, but, I deserve that. Why do they have that? And the Strength card really does speak to challenges and, being courageous, being bold, being daring, really just embodying your truth and showing up as your full self, no matter what the haters say, no matter what the naysayers say. And that can feel really uncomfortable. And people can try to, like, tear you down, with this bat, enemies working against you. But there is a level of trust that you have to have in yourself. In the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, the imagery is of a person that is really able to handle and tame a lion. But the lion is also, in relationship with that person. And there is a softness that you have to kind of approach this animal, this wild thing with, in order for it to be responsive to your energy. So it's like feeling very relaxed in yourself and feeling, like you can just be yourself, and feeling fully embodied and able to show up and say, this is me, take it or leave it. And the people that leave it weren't meant for you. And the people that take it, they're really going to benefit from the blessings that you bring to their life, and you will benefit from their presence as well. But it really is about just being on your authentic path, really, is what I get from the Strength and the Eight of Pentacles. And the Eight of Cups is really just moving through your life and making it a moving ritual, like that there's everyday magic, finding the magic in every day. That's literally what it is. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pull some signs, some more oracle cards of signs for what you might see along your path, more information Spirit wants to convey for pile 3. What signs do we have for pile 3? What signs do we have for pile 3, Spirit? Oh, that's too many. What signs do we have for pile 3? Signs, okay. Phrases, motivation, okay, and this speaks to manifestation. I see this also as listening to the subtle messages that people give you, whether they're pouring into you or whether they are kind of speaking negativity over the things that you are doing and building for yourself. Are the people in your life gassing you up? Are they motivating you? Are they putting you on? Or are they, shitting on your dreams, or, kind of hating on you? That's going to be important. And also the motivation that you give yourself, like, it's almost like creating a domino effect, or, seeing one little, spell work or one manifestation work, that it's kind of going to give you the motivation to keep going. And it's like looking for the little things. Let's see what else we have for you. And Firefly, wonder. Okay. And that to me, yeah, it's like paying attention to the everyday gifts that Spirit puts on our path, that, being in touch with the wonders of, just being alive, being here, experiencing this thing that we call life, this incarnation, and your personal path. It's like you see everything through the eyes of your faith, which is really, really beautiful, pile 3. It's like there will be pockets of magic in your everyday that keep you motivated, that keep you moving forward, that have you give you something to look forward to in every day that you wake up and open your eyes. It's like a whole new outlook on life, and it's always been within you, but it's being unlocked on a new level. You're seeing through all of your senses. You're feeling on an extrasensory level. It really is a rebirth of yourself. That's really amazing. I love that. Okay, so I'm going to pull some affirmations for you, and let's see what Spirit has. What affirmations do you have for pile 3? Affirmations. Okay. We have all of my actions and decisions are rooted in a place of love. See, so yeah, what motivates you is love and wonder and a sense of discovery. And yeah, that's where the magic of your manifestations come from. It really comes from a place of genuine love of the place that you're at, and the gifts, the blessings that you've received from your spirit team, from the universe. It's like a whole new outlook on life. Yeah, that's really beautiful, pile 3. Let's see what else we have for you. What other affirmations does Spirit have? Let me see. Okay. Oh, this one was flipped over, and I really think that one is your message too. It says, I speak to myself with respect, love, and kindness, and in turn, the universe surrounds me with people who do the same. Yes, that it's important that, you know, the people in your orbit, that if they're not cheering you on, if they're not rooting for you, if, you know, they kind of pour cold water on your dreams, if being around them makes you feel worse and not better. And that's not saying, you know, that if someone's going through something, one of your friends, and, you know, that's draining, that you should distance yourself from that person, because we all go through things. But that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying people who speak negatively of you and the things that you care about, that make you feel like, oh, you're bad or wrong for liking the things that you like and wanting the things that you want. That it's really important to pay attention to the way that people speak to you. And also, you deserve to speak respect, love, and kindness to yourself, and that you're a respectful, loving, and kind person to other people. So what you give out is what you deserve back. And if that's not what you're receiving from other people, then you know, using your discernment and your ability to kind of walk away from those situations that aren't serving you is really important for you. And, you know, this is the good stuff. 8 of Cups, it will lead you to something better. They're missing out, not you. So keep that in mind. That's really important. All right, now we're going to look at some self-care messages from Spirit, what Spirit is recommending for your spiritual, physical, mental self-care. Spirit, what do you have for pile 3? What self-care messages do you have for pile 3? Okay. Let's see what these are. Like that was it. Come on. All right, Spirit, what do you have? Okay, let's see. We have, okay, connect. So that's really staying connected to people, staying motivated on your path, staying connected to people that motivate you, and really getting out there, especially like this walking meditation card. Being out and about, being with people, I mean, safely, obviously, we're still in a pandemic, it's not over, but feeling a sense of connection with the people around you. All right. And breakfast. Okay, and that's really important to make sure that you're nourishing yourself, you're feeding your body. I get the feeling that this is the pile with folks who have very busy minds, and, you know, you might get kind of carried away in your thoughts and your dream world and forget what your physical body needs. And Spirit is kind of asking you to come back to self, make sure that you're nourishing yourself with the simple things, because that will make a difference. We're spiritual beings, but we live in a physical vessel that needs nourishment. And it's very important for you to have that. If you go a long time without meals, or in between meals, are you drinking enough water? Things like that, that make sure that you're nourishing yourself, that you're not starving yourself, that, you know, those things are going to be very important to you. Especially the water thing is coming through, that our intuitive connection, the moon that rules the tides, our body is made up of a lot of water, that it's really important to stay hydrated so that you can be grounded and connected to your intuition. Is a message that Spirit is giving me. And I'm going to read Connect out of the book, even though, I mean, it seems pretty straightforward, but I want to see if there's anything else in the book that is recommended. Okay, it says connect with a friend or family member you haven't spoken to in a while. If there's anything you may need help with, ask someone for help. You don't need to handle everything on your own. It's okay and sometimes necessary to ask for help. If you need someone to talk to but don't have anyone you trust, find a therapist or any kind of support if possible. They are now easily available online and are more affordable. Summary: call a friend or family member, ask for help or speak to a therapist, join a book club or a local meetup. Yes, but that's just like going along with that walking meditation card, getting out and being very connected, the full experiencing life, awakening that desire for new experiences and really soaking in everything that this incarnation, that the day has to offer you. But that's all I'm seeing for you, pile 3. That's a beautiful reading, and I really, really hope that you receive that it resonates with you. If this did resonate with you, can you please drop a light bulb emoji into the comment section? And if you want to talk about any of your experiences, you don't have to, of course, that's optional, but I'd love to hear from you. I love to connect with you. I read every single comment, and I really appreciate your likes, comments, subscribes, shares. It really helps the algorithm and for YouTube to push out my videos and help to grow the channel. So any way that you support me, I really, really appreciate that. And I really appreciate you being here. So that is all I have for you, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.